Have you ever had a nightmare so vivid that you woke up in a cold sweat? Imagine experiencing it in broad daylight. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 10 most brutal, disturbing, and unforgettable Jason Voorhees kill scenes so shocking they'll haunt your dreams. Prepare to see machetes driven through bodies, crushed heads, frozen corpses, and even trees transformed into deadly weapons. This is the darkest side of the killer who never dies. 10. The Spear in the Mirror, Friday the 13th, Part 2. We open our list with a classic and disturbing scene. A young woman tries to hide in a room, believing Jason won't find her. But in absolute silence, he stabs the mirror with a spear, piercing the victim without giving her any chance to react. The most frightening detail is the shattered reflection, which shows her face in pieces as if the horror were in every direction. 9. The Deadly Sauna, Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason takes Manhattan. Imagine relaxing in the heat, thinking you're safe, but Jason appears and grabs a red-hot rock from the sauna. Ruthlessly, he presses it against the victim's chest. The sound of burning flesh, mixed with muffled screams, creates one of the most grotesque deaths in the franchise. 8. The Machete through the Bed, Friday the 13th, Part 4. Perhaps one of the most graphic and brutal scenes. A young man is lying in his bed when Jason plunges his machete into his chest, also piercing the mattress. The silence of the room contrasts with the horror of the scene, leaving the audience in shock. 7. The Nitrogen Mask, Jason X. In space, no one can hear your screams, but Jason can make them last forever. A scientist has her face doused in liquid nitrogen, freezing in seconds. Jason removes it and calmly smashes her head against the counter, shattering it into pieces, a futuristic and unforgettable death. 6. The Boy on the Stairs, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives. A quick but impactful moment. Jason chases a young man down a wooden staircase. Effortlessly, he grabs the victim and smashes him against the railing, leaving his body bent grotesquely. It's proof that, for Jason, any object can become a weapon. 5. The Sleeping Bag in the Tree, Friday the 13th, Part 7. Perhaps Jason's most iconic kill. He drags a girl inside a sleeping bag and, as if she were a toy, slams her against a tree. The sharp impact and unique brutality of this scene shock even the most gore-savvy fans. For the Triple Decapitation, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Yes, you read that right. Triple in a swift and precise attack. Jason decapitates 3 victims at once. The scene is so absurd that it mixes shock and disbelief. It's Jason demonstrating that his supernatural strength goes far beyond logic. 3. Death in the Bathroom, Friday the 13th, Part 3. A couple seeks intimate moments in a bathroom, but Jason appears. He grabs the girl and drowns her in a slow and disturbing manner, while the partner is killed without even realizing the danger. The scene is suffocating, both literally and emotionally. 2. The Fatal Punch, Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason takes Manhattan. One of the most surprising moments in the franchise. A courageous boxer faces Jason on a rooftop and, after fighting to exhaustion, falls defeated. Jason, almost bored, delivers a single punch, which rips off the victim's head and sends her rolling down the street. Simply brutal. 1. The Return of the Lake, Friday the 13th, Part 1 Finale. Although it's not exactly adult Jason, it's impossible to ignore the saga's most disturbing scene. At the end of the first film, the survivor paddles peacefully across Crystal Lake until Jason, still a child, decomposed and monstrous, leaps from the water and drags her away. This unexpected scare has marked generations and cemented Jason as the king of nightmares. Why do these deaths haunt so much? What makes each of these deaths frightening is not just the graphic violence, but the calm with which Jason acts. He doesn't run, he doesn't scream, he shows no emotion. For him, killing is as natural as breathing. This lack of humanity transforms Jason into something more than a common killer. He is a force of nature, a living reminder that death can come in any form, anywhere, without warning. The horror that never dies. Jason Voorhees has survived it all. Fire, water, electricity, explosions, and even the vacuum of space. But what truly survives is the fear he represents. His deaths aren't just movie scenes, they're symbols of inescapable horror. And even decades later, his hockey mask remains one of the world's most recognizable icons. Jason isn't just a character, he's a legend. The final invitation. What about you? Which of these deaths was the most disturbing? Has any of them haunted your dreams? Leave your opinion in the comments. Share this video with your horror-loving friends. And, of course, subscribe to the Haunted Hour channel so you don't miss the next dives.